Welcome to the Tanya Hoffman's Fabulous TV show. And I am so excited because it's a fabulous day and I have an incredibly fabulous guest, Miss Doctor. So it's a doctor.
Miss Doctor.
Miss Doctor Suzanne Cohen. Yay!
Great to be here. Thanks.
Yay! So we're super excited about you being on the show today. Suzanne has been on The View. She's been on all of these TV shows. She used to be the CEO of a pharmaceutical company, and now she's got her own sales program, training, multiplex of incredible sales information to help businesses grow and expand and go, and do things that they didn't even think they were able to do. So thank you for being on the show today. I really appreciate your time.
My pleasure. Happy to be here.
Yay. So why don't you tell people a little bit about you and, what you've got going on for 2016?
Okay. Wow. So I am a dentist by profession, but business has always been my passion. And even when I was practicing dentistry, I was always involved in businesses, many of them healthcare related businesses. And then for almost 20 years, I was the president of a pharmaceutical company, Triumph Pharmaceuticals. We marketed Smart Mouth mouthwash, 12-hour fresh breath. If you don't know about it, check it out. Great stuff. And in addition to being the CEO, I was also the spokesperson, being a dentist, and our product being a mouthwash. So I was an expert on The View, the Today Show, Fox News. Actually, our product was the basis for a task on The Apprentice. So as the CEO of the company, I was there judging the different teams. It was the last season before they went to Celebrity Apprentice. So that was fun.
Nice.
And throughout my entire career, I've looked at strategy is everything. I look at the strategy of everything in my life. And looking from a strategic perspective, I've just been frustrated, irritated with, befuddled, I don't know if that's a good word to use, but befuddled by sales. There's so much insanity out there, and there's so much wasted time, wasted money. Sales, it's critical, right? If you don't have any sales, you don't have a company. But that's where so much stress comes in. There's a lack of control. The company, gives control over to salespeople, and there's some salespeople that are spectacular. There's some that are not so spectacular. And so as I have gone through my career, I've really been exploring what works and what doesn't work in sales. And the current sales model, where salespeople go in and we all know that they talk too much, right? They will talk to you as long as you'll allow them to. And to a great degree, people don't know how to say no. They don't know how to stop someone from talking. So they'll just keep talking, and they'll talk to someone who really doesn't have any need or even an interest in their product or service. And it's just a waste of time and money for everybody involved. So I've created an entirely new sales model, and it saves time. It saves money. It eliminates the waste. And because of that, it dramatically increases revenue and decreases costs, so it drives profitability. And the basics are, the entire program is based upon simplicity and consistency and duplicatability. And that's my program. My company is Profitable Simplicity. And I love my name because when you simplify everything, it creates profitability. And I love win-win situations. And it creates win-win situations all the way down the line. The company wins, the salespeople win. It's very supportive of the salespeople. For the most part, once they get out into the field, they don't have any support. So So
Right.
this program helps them to be successful. And I'm really excited about it, really proud, and it's made a difference for companies. So
Awesome. I know we were just talking about it yesterday, and
right.
It's incredible to me. A lot of people, and I totally get it. They have been working their whole life in a corporate job. They've never dealt with sales. And so suddenly they've been laid off. They've decided to leave their job and do their own thing, and they've never had any sales training.
Yeah.
So, of course, they go to the networking group and they do it all wrong, right? They're like, oh, give me business cards. Here's my business cards. Here's what, and they're like, blah, 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 and they won't stop.
Yeah.
And people are like, oh, go away from me, because they just don't get how to sell. And even businesses, they can be very profitable and really start to grow and expand, but then all of a sudden, they kind of plateau because they don't understand the sales model, right?
Right. Well, for those people who are just getting into it, they don't have to feel so badly, because there are a lot of salespeople who are career salespeople who don't know how to sell. And, here are some of the things that salespeople don't realize, that some salespeople don't realize. It has nothing to do with you. When you're talking to a prospective customer, most salespeople are trying to get them to do something. They're trying to get them to buy something, and they'll say anything and everything that they can, kind of like throwing spaghetti up on the wall. What sticks, right? Or they're trying to sell themselves. If you fall in love with me, when you see how great I am, you're going to want. So sorry, my fax machine.
That's okay.
You're going to want to work with me. You're going to buy something from me because you like me. The bottom line is, your prospective customers don't give two hoots about you, nor do they give two hoots about the company. They care about themselves. So instead of making the sales presentation, whatever it is, about you or the company from your perspective or the company's perspective, it's more important to come from the customer's perspective. What do they need to hear? What's the minimum amount of information they need to hear to make a preliminary determination as to whether or not this is a potential fit for them? That's like the greatest key to sales, in my opinion. Look for the fit. Don't try to get anyone to do something. You're looking to see if this is a possibility in terms of something that this person or this company may want or need. If it's not, don't waste one more second of time. Move on to the next. As we all know, with sales, it's a numbers game. And instead of looking, having a perspective where it's the scarcity perspective. The opportunities are so scarce that I have to do everything I can to get this one person to buy my product or service. Yeah. And I think opportunities are plentiful, right? So if you know that there are so many more people out there, so many more companies, then you're looking for those companies where it's going to be a good fit. Your prospective customers will appreciate the fact that you have honored their time and not spent all this time with them. And it will make you much more productive, much more effective.
Well, I know, with a lot of times, of course, with the speaking world, it really kind of brings that down really quickly. You've got an audience, say you got 100 people, 25% automatically just love you. They love what you're saying. And that's why I love the speaking world so much, because, you can go and have lunch with a gazillion people and trying to find that, 25 people out of 100. It's a lot of process where you stand on stage and immediately you've got 25 people that are going, hey, I want more of you. And it's just such a quicker results-driven atmosphere in the marketing world. And plus, was our theme for today, influence for business, it is about that influence on stage that shows you as the expert. But I think a lot of times people get stuck in that negative. They're focused on the bottom 25% that don't like you, that don't like what you're saying, they don't agree with you, and you're like, why not?
Right.
What is there not to like?
Yeah. That's so funny. Well, when any presentation is egocentric, when it's all about you, then your productivity, your effectiveness just goes right down the tubes. When I first started speaking, it's as most people who first start speaking, I was nervous, right? And one day I had an epiphany and I said, get a grip. This is not about you. It doesn't matter if you fall flat on your face and you make a huge fool of yourself. You don't matter in this conversation. The people out in the audience, they're the ones that matter. If you contribute to one person by what you're saying, then you've done your job. And that made a huge difference for me. So, and in almost every presentation I've ever given, because I can go off, right? I start talking about something and then my brain goes off, right? So I'll get off track and I won't remember where I was. And so I'll say, okay, where was I? and someone in the audience will say, here. And I'm like, oh, thanks. It's more like a conversation, a one-on-one conversation. And, if you look at each individual person, then you're just talking to that one person, then you move to the next person. And it makes it easier to just talk to one person. But it's the same thing in sales. When you're thinking about you, when you're thinking about what your needs are and what your quotas are, and then you're coming from the wrong place. You're standing in the wrong place. And it's much more powerful if you stand in a place of service and contribution.
Yeah. Well, and I think that's really what it's about, is realizing that there are people that it's like a puzzle piece. Because it was so hard for me, because I really didn't understand why people didn't like me, and I think women, my husband's like, I don't care if they like me or not, so I think it's different a lot of times with women and men. You're like, really, what is there not to like? What can I do? And we're such people pleasers. I know I was a big people pleaser, and it was like the moment of change for me when I looked into the audience and I saw the guy who didn't like me. And for whatever reason, they always sit to my left and down in front. I'm not sure why, but he's
That's
like,
funny.
He's like, no, and I just was like, oh, I got to change his mind. I know I could change his mind. And then I caught a glimpse of a lady that I had a great conversation with before I got on stage. And she was like smiling and she was writing a bunch of stuff. I'm like, oh my gosh, why am I focusing on him? Why not focus on her? That's amazing that we already click, It's, we get all confuddled a lot of times of focusing on what doesn't matter instead of what does, where people are ready to jump in, they're ready to change their life. And we all have these conversations with people, especially I think as new entrepreneurs and new salespeople, we kind of go out there and every person means that, are we going to get to put diapers on the baby tonight? That kind of thing,
Yeah.
And so we put all of our stock into that sale when it's about building the relationship with the person first.
Right.
And most people don't want to do that. They just want to get down to the sale. Well, I don't really want to know about your dogs and your cats. I want to know, do you want this product or not? That's
true.
not how you really make it.
That's everything you said is so true. I want to add one thing. I agree with you about women. We care more about what people think in general, in our lives, in the world. But don't kid yourself, men in business, in sales, they take it very personally. They don't really care if the person likes them. That's not how they view it. But they surely care if they want their product and if they buy from them. And sometimes they're like a bull in a china cabinet. They'll try to bully their way through to a sale. Or they'll try to talk you to death so that you'll buy something just to stop them from talking, right? So, and it's one of the reasons that I created my company. Most management, they don't know how to manage sales. So the control is not within the company, it's with the salespeople. And we already know that there's such a lack of consistency, right? Even sales training isn't consistent. It's not duplicatable. And they can't do it from within. It's really hard. And having been the CEO of a company, having been the owner of a company, you just can't see, you get these blinders on, and you can't really see it from your customer's perspective because you love your product so much and there's so much to say. You don't know how to cut it down and create a super concise, super directed communication. And so simplification is very hard for people. And that's what I do. And it's what I found is that I'm happiest. I've been the happiest in my life creating these programs because you get to take something that you knew nothing about before, right? And you get to look at it from a clean and pure perspective and fresh perspective. And then you get to help them. We actually do the work and then they edit and then approve it, right? It has to be approved by them, but we create it. And it's funny to see their faces when they see it and they're like, oh my gosh, this is so simple. And we actually, with videos and organizational documents, we create an entire program, and we can do it soup to nuts, from prospecting, pre-prospecting and like preliminary prospecting, and then more detailed prospecting, enrollment, financial information, then customer enrollment, customer prospecting. Your customers oftentimes have customers, right? And then education information. It's really like soup to nuts. But then it provides them with a foundation, an actual program that is duplicatable. It's the same every time, and it's supportive of the salespeople and all the things that we've been talking about. Like, it eliminates those challenges so that the salespeople get to spend their time fostering the relationships with their customers and answering questions.
And I think that a lot of industries have gotten so complacent, right? And I think that, they're like, well, this is the way we've always done it. I see it in the network marketing companies, right? All of them do the exact same thing over and over and over again. And they're like, well, it worked for this other company, so I think I'm going to do it that way. And things are changing, and nobody ever seems to want to change along with it. I was talking to, and a lot of times it's about letting go of those that you don't resonate with what you're saying, and that's a hard thing to teach people, especially in sales, right? Is to give that ability to influence those that connect well with you and let go of the ones that don't. I know I had a phone conversation. It was hilarious. So I had two gentlemen on the phone, and one guy was like, oh my gosh, I'm so excited to get a part of the Public Speakers Association. This is what I want to do. And he was just like, yay. And then the other guy was like, okay, I don't understand. You got to explain this to me. And so he'd ask the question and I'd answer him. And he's like, I don't understand what you just said. I'm like, okay, because my husband's analytical, so I know how to kind of change things around and, come from a different viewpoint. And everything was like sludging through the mud to get him to move. And at the end, we were talking away, and finally he goes, stop. I mean, he screamed stop into the phone. He goes, would you stop laughing? I'm trying to be serious here. And I'm like, which of course then made me laugh. And I was like, oh, I'm so sorry. If you want it to be all serious and businesslike, this isn't the way I do business. And that's, I think, a lot of what people miss in business is that they don't get their own voice and their own experiences, and be okay that you're not going to fit everybody.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
So do you help people kind of adjust for that? Because I think that's a hard thing for people to adjust for.
Well, the entire program that we create is based upon the fit. Okay. Now one thing that I would invite people to do, oftentimes when there's a salesperson or a company and they're looking for people to buy their product or service, obviously they're looking to see if this is a fit for a prospective customer. But I also have learned that it has to be a fit for you too. And you and I talked about this even just yesterday. If someone is not a fit for you and for your company, it's okay. And even recommended to say, you know what, thank you so much for your time. This is not a good fit for me. Number one, whatever kind of backlash you're getting, it stops it. And they know that they're no longer able to run over you. And
exactly.
And life is so short.
Because he was really surprised, right? That I didn't, oh, I'm so sorry. I mean, I used to be that way. I'd be like, oh, I'm so sorry. I wouldn't, because I take it all personally.
Yeah.
And now it's just like, I'm sorry, Jim. This organization doesn't work for you. There's lots of other ones. Go find someone else.
Yeah, absolutely. And to try to make things as simple and easy as you possibly can. That's half of the name, simplicity. And I try to do this to such a great degree in my life.
It's like the KISS method, right? Just keep it simple.
Yes.
And I always know when, like, I'm drudging, like things are slowing down, is when I overcomplicate things, right?
Right.
And I'm like, why am I trying to? It's kind of like this Blab show. A lot of people are like, oh my gosh, I have got to figure out how to do this for Blab, and I've got to get this all set, and they make it so complicated, then they don't do it at all.
Right.
And yeah, it's great when everything works as you want it to, but sometimes you just got to let it go.
Yeah. Well, you made this Blab situation much easier for me, so thank you very much.
You're welcome.
And I have an amazing IT person, so if anybody needs, a referral to somebody, because he really helped me out too. One thing I wanted to mention, based upon something you had said earlier, that some of the salespeople, some of the companies are so resistant to change, right? Part of the problem is they don't know what to change to. When I first got the inspiration, so in reality, I don't take any credit for anything that I've created. It's all inspired, right? But I was searching initially for other companies that already did what I was looking to do. And I couldn't find any, literally. There are some companies that have done things online, like through a website, that can be similar. I was talking to a good friend of mine who I've known for quite a long time. And he heads up sales, national sales, for a multi-billion-dollar a year company. And we were talking about it, and he said, there is nothing like this out there in the world. And so my vision is grand, because to me, if we can eliminate waste, simplify, right, create consistency and duplicatability, which will increase revenue, decrease cost, drive profitability, company by company by company, as those companies increase their bottom line, they can hire more people. They're paying more taxes to the greatest degree possible. In the end, We can help reduce the federal deficit. We can help reduce unemployment. We need to become more profitable. We need to become more efficient and effective in what we do. And it's mind-blowing that the current sales model that's been used for literally over 100 years has never been challenged. There's been nothing new. Yeah. And it surprises me. And I'm just really excited about it. It's my way to contribute. I think that's really
I think that's what happens with people who, we're kind of trailblazers, right? Because that's the same thing why I created the Public Speakers Association. I didn't see another group out there for speakers that was really helping them get booked to speak and market them, know? And so I was like, well, I guess I get to go be the one to do it,
Yeah. And look at how many people, you have so many people that you help and that you work with who are.
I know, it's so much fun.
Yeah. And then they're able to go and contribute to the people that they are presenting to. So like you, what we do and our intention is to contribute to our customers who can contribute to their customers. I really consider our customers our clients, right? So it is so exciting. And there's nothing better than win-win situations all the way down the line.
Oh, yeah.
Nobody loses.
I don't want to. It doesn't feel good to me when it's lopsided, and I just was used to be the giver, and then I realized it wasn't helping me, but it wasn't also helping them, because I feel like once you balance, right, you've got both sides of the balance equal, then real momentum happens. Right. If it's always one person or the other, if you're always a taker or you're always a giver, it's off balance, and it doesn't create this beautiful horizon that really has movement to it.
It's true. And in reality, that is true of every single relationship in life, personal, social, business. When you just have a giver and a taker, it's so lopsided. And I am all about personal responsibility. So, in a relationship, if you take 100% of the responsibility for your portion of the relationship and the other person does the same, then you have magic. And it can be any type of relationship. And the clients that we work with and are looking for are clients that are looking to do good in the world. As my company grows and as more people join, I'm looking to create an environment that is truly team-based, personal and leadership growth and development based. How do we heal? Because everybody comes into every single relationship with a past and with baggage, and how can we help to heal that so that we just get to look forward now and we get to leave our baggage behind and do that as a company. And then for those clients that are interested in having more harmonious and peaceful and productive companies and futures and employees, helping to translate to them and then to the families and, like one person, one company at a time. But I think there's more contribution that can be made than just making more money. Money does not buy happiness. Unfortunately, all I have to do is look to Hollywood to see that, right? And so there's so many different ways to create harmony, like you were talking about, and to help to change shift the balance. So I'm really excited.
Yeah, we both have 12-year-olds, and it's so interesting to see life through even like a 12-year-old, because it's such an exciting moment in their life, because they're changing. You see, my son's voice is getting lower. He's just turned 12 and he's 5'7", so he's getting all tall and you know, he's struggling, and I see it. It's a lot like, you know, in business, we have those moments that we kind of struggle through, but it's exciting to see the transformation. And a lot of people don't want to go through the transformation because it's challenging and it's hard. You know, you think about puberty, who wants to do that again? But once you go through it and you're done, poof, you know, you don't have to do it again, hopefully.
Yep. So there are two mantras that I have, like on a daily basis, that I say to myself. One is, whoever said it was going to be easy, right? Whoever said that? Life is a struggle. But when you come out on the other side, just like you were saying, you know, there's a lot of joy and celebration. The other thing, and this has been a huge commitment to me, and I say this to myself every day, and I say it to everybody that I work with. I'm not committed to your comfort. Most people are so committed to their comfort. They like to stay in their comfort zone, what they know, what feels comfortable to them. But that's not where miracles happen. Miracles happen when you're willing to get out of your comfort zone and to do something new and to commit to something new. So if someone says to me, this is my commitment, I'm committed to doing this, then you know that they're going to be uncomfortable. And when they say, oh, I don't want to do that. Oh, I don't want to call that person. They're going to say, no, you know, I'm like, okay, I'm not committed to your comfort. I'm committed to your commitment. And if you're committed
just like
to your
yesterday, right? You totally said, you know, I mean, this was yesterday, and you're like, hey, I want you on my show. And you're like, okay. And you're like, how do I do that? I'm like, we'll figure that part out, you know? But most people would be like, oh no, I have to prepare and do all of this stuff. And, you know, yeah, it's great when it works and everything is, you know, easy, but nothing's really easy. You know, we had the fabulous Miss Charmaine that was going to be on, and she will be on one of our next shows. It didn't work. It's okay. You know, a lady the other day, she was like, oh, Tanya, she had a rough time getting on, and she finally she kept saying, you know, she kept texting me. She goes, I'm just not going to do it. I'm like, just keep trying. Just keep trying. And hers wasn't, you know, technical, like, you know, her headset and everything. It was that she just didn't know what to do. And I said, just do it. And she kept trying, and finally it happened. It worked. You know, she got on. And it's that perseverance that a lot of times people just throw their hands up. See, it didn't work. I told you it wasn't going to work. You know, they use whatever excuse that they want. You know, and sometimes it just doesn't work. And I've had people, Miss Charmaine couldn't get on. It happens. Do you freak out about it? No, you let it go on, you know. Don't get so stuck to the outcome that if the outcome doesn't happen, the whole world blows up, you know. Thanks, Charmaine, for the love. Yay! You can't be so stuck on the outcome. And I think that's the biggest thing for salespeople in general and people in business in general, is every moment is a learning moment. And I always look at, if this person in front of me doesn't want to join and doesn't want to, you know, be a part of my world, it is okay, because they may connect to somebody that will be. And so it's your kind of, I always look at it as your duty to go out and make that person feel really good about themselves, because then they'll remember you and they'll actually think about you. And when the moment is right, refer business to you. And so nothing is lost. It's just the way that you approach it, right?
I totally agree. There was a course that I had taken once. Actually, I took it a number of times, and I even co-led the course a number of times. It was called the Freedom Course. And one of the things that you got to see in this course was that everything's about interpretation. You know, when we're children, something happened that we perceived as being negative. And from that, we made decisions about ourselves and other people and the world. And then that becomes the filter through which we experience life. And so when you realize, and then you're able to reinterpret something, and an interpretation is just something that you've made up about something. So you can either interpret something as good or bad. And everybody has a story. As you and I talked about, things happen to everybody. I've had a lot of really bad, very, very challenging things happen in my life. And I'm beyond those now, but there are more challenging things to come. But there were enough gifts that came out of every single one of those really bad, really hurtful situations that I came to realize there's a gift in everything. And people say, oh, things happen for a reason. I believe that. I think there's a gift in everything. So even though I may have a moment that I'm upset or frustrated, I chose to create a filter where I look at everything looking for the gift, and so
exactly.
Yeah, even if I'm upset
Robert,
about something.
I just saw Robert come on. If y'all don't know Robert, y'all definitely
Robert.
need to get a hold of Robert. He's incredible. Hey, Robert, do you want to come on? Put in the chat window if you want to come in. But you definitely need to get to know Suzanne, Robert. And Charmaine wasn't able to get on today. She's in the little log things. Make sure you connect with her, just FYI. Oh, you have a few minutes. Let me unlock it. We're going to have the fabulous Mr. Robert Stern come in.
Hey, Robert.
Hey, Dr. Susan.
And he's incredible. Hey!
How are you, Miss Tanya?
Fabulous. We still need to connect, man.
I know. This is just the beginning of the year. I'm like off to a huge thing starting on Sunday.
Yeah, what is that?
I have the 22 cities we're visiting.
Yes!
Starts on
Sunday. Be so exciting.
22 city tour with we have 13 speakers throughout the nation that are helping out at different cities, and starts on Sunday.
That's amazing. How exciting.
And actually, it's 22 set up for 6.5 months, and I just found out we may be adding 7 more.
That's incredible. Well, let me know really how I can help support you on this. If you need me to help you promote the events and stuff.
It's all on the website. So anybody who wants to check it out, it's just on my website. It's very simple.
Awesome. Message me and let's connect because I'd love to help you with that.
Definitely. I saw your title. I went influence for business. I think kind of what I'm.
Does Robert know about influence?
Kind of like that's what I preach to all my clients.
Oh my gosh, and that's what's so much fun when you start seeing these incredible people and you get connected and you see this like ripple effect happening. It's just like blows me away.
So tell me about Dr. Cohen because I missed the beginning. I don't know much about
her.
Bio.
So tell them about you. Tell them about being on The View and The Apprentice. Come on.
Well, I am a dentist by profession, but I was the CEO of a pharmaceutical company for almost 20 years. And I was also the company spokesperson. And so with that, I was a guest expert on the Today Show, The View, Fox News, and numerous other shows. And our product was the basis for a task on The Apprentice. It was the last season before they went to Celebrity Apprentice. And so, that was all really fun.
I'm trying to remember it because I used to watch it.
So
what was the task?
The product was Smart Mouth. It's a mouthwash that provides 12 hours of fresh breath. It really works. I'm not involved with the company anymore, but if you rinse in the morning, It prevents bad breath all day. Like you can drink coffee for the next 12 hours and, no coffee breath. And when you rinse at night, you can wake up in the morning, no morning breath. So it's an awesome.
I remember that episode actually. Now that you start saying that, because they did a whole production of it, right?
The task was the teams had to create an insert, a marketing piece for the LA Times. And there was a team of all boys. It was all boys and one girl. And then there was a team of just all girls. And the girls won. They came up with something that was really quite clever. The other team, it was bad. I mean, crash and burn bad. And so,
but we have all done that ourselves in our business, right? We've all created things that are like, what were we thinking? And then they're like, some you're like,
me.
I'm honest. I've done it hundreds of times.
That's so funny. As have we all, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's all that's part of being an entrepreneur in general is just kind of trying something. And that's why I like, speaking, in front of groups, because it's like immediate market research, right? You can throw something out there and see if it sticks, if it flies, it goes out the window. What happens when you say blah? And it's so exciting to see that reaction,
Yeah.
So what do you do now now that you're
free from the pharmaceutical company?
Yes, I was trying to be nice.
No worries. So I have a company. It's called Profitable Simplicity. And I've created an entirely new sales model. The existing or the traditional sales model, which is over a century old, is just broken. There's so much waste, time, money. There's virtually no consistency, no duplicatability, and it's insanity at its finest, in my opinion. And so I've created a new sales and marketing model, a program where we create through videos and documents, organizational documents. We create an entire program, start to finish, like from prospecting, preliminary prospecting to more detailed prospecting, enrollment, financial information, sales training, education information. We create soup to nuts a program that creates consistency, duplicatability. It supports salespeople. So they're able to foster relationships with their customers and their prospective customers, but they're not having to do so much of the heavy lifting. And one of the greatest benefits of this program is it puts the control of sales back with the company. The company has more control. They know who their salespeople are prospecting. Most companies don't even know who their salespeople are talking to. And they don't know where their prospective customers are in the process. They don't even know where their customers are in the process. So,
and I think too, when you start looking at, companies versus, you got your salespeople, and then you have entrepreneurs that are their own salespeople, right? And you start going out where they are. So you go to Starbucks, and they're all hanging out there, hoping that they can make a sale that day, but they're sitting and drinking coffee. Right. It's always funny to me.
Yeah. And
it's like, talk to each other at least. Y'all are all salespeople. Talk to each other.
Yeah. At bottom line, it dramatically increases revenue because you're able to prospect so many more people. It decreases cost. There's not so much waste of time. Waste of travel. There's so many benefits to it, and it just drives profitability. So
Robert, what do you have going on with your event? What do you expect to, what is like your goal for your 2016 event route of the world?
It's interesting. Most people would turn to me and say, "Oh, he's going on tour. He's selling tickets. It's a moneymaker. It's this. It's that." We actually. When speaking with the other people that I'm friends with and that are in the social media field and marketing, I turned around and said, we all go to these amazing events, Social Boom in Chicago and Social Media Marketing Day out in San Diego. And, we pay $500 or $400 for a ticket, and then you got to fly there, and then you got hotel and food. Before you know it, you're spending, I don't know, $1,500. Mm-hmm. And small businesses can't do that. The brick and mortars, the sole proprietors, the entrepreneurs, and they're the ones that need the most help with social media. Right. Because you can literally, I can spend hours and hours going through webinars and going online, watching videos, but there's nobody to talk to. It's like, okay, great. Oh wait, how did he do that again? I don't understand it. These things happen. Plus there's time consumption. I mean, how many hours a day does a small business person have to research and learn this when they need to do their business?
So true.
Exactly.
It's so what I decided to do, and I spoke to a whole bunch of people about it. And we all do public speaking. We all go out there and we talk and we do conferences and we get paid for it because that's what our specialty is. I teach social media and marketing. Well,
Cool.
I said to them, I was telling them about the small business situation. They go, you're right. They don't have the ability to take the time off and do all that stuff. I said, so why don't we go old school and why don't we take it to them, but not in a digital way? Let's go real old school and let's bring it to them in person.
Yes.
Okay, so we are going around with the 22. We are going to do a 5.5-hour event with lunch. Each place will have minimum 3 speakers from somewhere around the country. I'll be at all 22. There's a couple that are going to many of them. I mean, I got Joel Comm's coming to a bunch of them. I mean, he's a big name in the digital world. Vicky Fitch, Bonnie Frank, Dave Shrine out in Arizona. I even have Samantha Kelly coming over from Dublin, the tweeting goddess. She's all about Twitter.
Wow.
She's coming over for 2 of them in Florida. To do them and everything. Everybody discounted their fees like incredibly for me because I mean, you know, I know what I get paid, and I know what some of them get paid, and it's like we're charging $85 a ticket.
Nice.
Wow.
For 5.5 hours.
And I think there's nothing more effective than being for a small business owner to go to a physical conference,
local.
Be there locally, be there, and not just be there to listen, which is always great, you're learning, but implement when you get home, but also connect with everyone else there, because guess what? They are all interested also. So you're in like this huge pool of like-minded people in general.
Mm-hmm. And then the thing is that we're going to actually videotape them all. And with the ticket price, they're going to go on a website, but for the people that are going to the event, we'll get a password to go in so they can go re-watch them again. Because, you know, we all been to conferences and it's kind of like, oh my God, what did Dr. Cohen say again? About that thing? You know, you got to try to remember it. So they have the videos to go back, but it's not just theirs.
I need to remember how cute Robert is. Let me go back and watch that again.
But they'll also have the ability to go back and watch any of the videos. Excuse me.
Bless you.
Any of the videos from all of the 22 cities. Because there's going to be different people at different cities.
Are you coming to Austin?
So now it's no, we're coming to Dallas and Fort Worth.
Okay.
In May. I think that was it.
Nice.
May is for them. But the thing is, it's 5.5 hours. It's tons of content. It's lunch included. It's $85. You get the video and the website and everything. And then also the thing that I made sure with everybody, when anybody's on stage, see, it's true because I keep sneezing. There is no upsells. Nobody is selling from the stage. Nobody is going to talk about their book or their webinar or their program or anything like that. This is basically, we're calling it the social media for small business summit, but it's really more like a workshop where they get to really learn stuff. I mean, the reason I kept it to 5.5 hours is that they leave at 2:30 or 3 o'clock if they stay after and talk, then go back to their office and actually start working it right there.
Right. And they miss the traffic.
Well, the thing is, could I have made it a full day event? Yeah, I could have. But I wanted to kind of put it more, hey, we're going to teach you this stuff. Now go do it.
Yeah.
Don't wait another whole day. Go back to the office, find out what's going on, or the shop, whatever, and sit down at the computer and maybe start to put some of those in there.
Well, and I know, I've got my conference coming up in June, so this is a little bit further out, but it's in Palm Springs, California. It's a public speakers conference. And I always tell people, when you come there, you're going to get so much information, which is awesome. Mm-hmm. You're going to walk out and you're going to know how to do some things. But don't leave without connections, right? And for me, it's all about bringing real value when I do events. and having people there that actually book speakers, you know, and all different types, you know, from whatever it is that they are trying to get their word out.
Right.
Because if we could all create this message, you're going out and you're creating this outcome for people. If we could all do that in a positive way, can you imagine how amazing this world would be? Oh my gosh, you know?
I mean, we're doing it more as a service type of situation to help businesses. Now, granted, you know, they're paying tickets. We are getting paid for our expenses, the speakers and stuff, and they are getting something. And then the hall's got to get paid, the food, everything. But at the same time, at the end, we're just going to put up our information. If they want to contact any of us, contact. There's no splitting of businesses and money. You know, sometimes there's always those behind the scene things. Well, if you get a client, you need to put that. No, we're not doing any of that. We're going old school. And that's what I see a lot of this year. I think the technology is amazing. I mean, live streaming in general. I mean, Tanya, you know me with live streaming. I mean, between now there's MeV is out this week, and which is like huge. There's so much going on that we're getting a lot of great connections, but we're forgetting about the personal in real life sitting down.
So what is this about MeV? I didn't even hear about this. Where's my pin?
God. It's another live streaming app, which I think is going to blow up big. Really,
MEVE?
MEVEE.com.
All right.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Something else to jump into.
And there's more coming. And there's more coming. I get, you know, technology is changing all the time. And, you know, I mean, so Dr. Cohen's on here, and I actually connected with her on Twitter and saw, okay, this is her first Twitter account because she's only got 2 followers.
That's right. Well, there was, and there's a specific reason for that. So,
but I'd be anxious to hear more about your marketing program. So definitely, that's why I followed you. This way, maybe we can connect offline. I want to hear more about it. So that with some of my clients and stuff. So.
Awesome.
Because I work with sole entrepreneurs and startups and mid business, but I also do strategy work for the Fortune 500, Fortune 100. So I'm all over the place. But I mean, plus, you know, I mean, I got a book coming out in the next couple months.
Congratulations.
And yes, it's all about live. And it's all about live streaming. What a surprise.
Let me know how I can help you promote that also. You know, for me, it's all about just helping. You know, if we could all help each other, I mean, gosh, you know, one lady's up in Canada the other day. You know Teresa de Grosbois, Robert?
I know the name. I don't think I know her, but I know the name.
Yeah, you definitely need to know her. So she had a new book come out, so I helped promote it. And she was like, you know, Tanya, you're one of the only people who said you would and did it. And I'm like, well, don't tell people you're going to do something if you're not going to really do it, right?
Mm-hmm. I'm hoping that this will be the year of contribution. You know, it's amazing when you contribute to somebody else, it comes back to you like tenfold, right?
Yep.
So
exactly.
If
y'all can help me with one thing is I'm looking for a fan that I can hook to my waist so that my hair will look like this the whole time. Just like,
we gotta get you, you know, they have those Diva rings for the lighting. Maybe we need to get you a Diva light, you know, a Diva fan, so that it just has a constant glow to.
That we're talking now.
That's hilarious.
On my TV show, I'll be like, "Hello, everybody."
There you go. But this is going to be an interesting year. There's a lot going for it. Social media is taking off, you know, further. Technology is taking off further. But I think it's more about connecting again and building on relationships.
Building relationships.
Yep.
Hello, you know, and I think that's what people don't want. They were like, I just want to go out and make a sale. Do I have to network and do? And I'm like, you're not wanting to be in business. You just want to be a clerk. I said, go to Walmart to be that. Yeah. You know, if you want to be in business,
it goes with your title, influence for business. I mean, the way to build influence is to build relationships.
That's exactly right.
Exactly.
That's right.
Well, and if you don't, it's like, you know, Suzanne and I sat down and we had lovely lunch, and 3 hours later we were like, oh my gosh, you know, we got to get going.
Wonderful.
but it's about investing, because it's all about investing. You're investing your time and your energy to help others, and magical things happen, opportunities that you can't even ask for, pay for, whatever comes to your way that there's no way it would have happened otherwise.
I mean, a lot of people, we talk about, there's people around you, you're starting a business, and then, well, what are you, crazy? You're starting a business, well, you shouldn't be doing, all the negativity, you want to dash that aside and keep the positive around you and everything. Well, it's the same thing with the influence. You want to get involved with people that have influence, and you also want to get involved with the people that are looking at you to be the influencer. Exactly. It works both sides of the coin. And, one of the things I always say, they're like, well, what makes a person an influencer? And I said, one person. All you need is one person to follow your lead and to believe in you and to start buying from you or working with you or whatever else. You have now just become an influencer because it's only one needed, and that one now builds out.
Exactly.
That's true.
Well, and a lot of times you can't see what's happening, right? We all have this external thing going on, especially with the internet. And, I speak all the time, so I'm in front of 30 to 1,000 people. So you see the blinder effect. Yeah, you have no idea where
That's right.
Where it ripples out to. It was funny I went to LA the other day for an event. And I was pulling down, getting luggage down from the airplane, and a guy turned around to grab his. He's like, "Oh my gosh, you're that speaker woman!" And I'm like, "Hello," and then everyone else is like, "Who is she?"
The best
you have this one of these little moments.
I didn't mean to do it. I wasn't making fun of somebody, but I was trying to prove a point. I was at Periscope Summit in New York. Because I live over here on the East Coast. I'm right outside New York City. And I was speaking at Periscope Summit. And I have a good following on Periscope. I love it. It's great. The engagement, everything about it. And I had people come up to me. And there was these two women. They're like, "Oh, my God, it's Robert C. Stern. Oh, my God, I got to meet you finally. Blah, 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 blah. I want a picture. So I looked down at their name tags. And I went, "Oh my God, it's Dr. Suzanne Cohen. How are you? Oh my God." I went right back and they looked at me and I went, "We're just normal people." I was trying to say, don't make a big fuss about it. I'm not
Robert, we are so much alike. It's ridiculous. Because I had a lady and she heard me when I had a radio show, and I had met her at a networking group, and I handed her my card, and we just chatted for a second, and then I got into this whole conversation with someone else. And on my voicemail on the way home is like, "Oh my gosh, were you Tanya Hoffman? I was a Tanya Hoffman fabulous TV show, and I was sitting right next to you." And so I called back and I'm like, got her voicemail. I'm like, "Oh my God, I am Tanya Hoffman. I can't believe I was just sitting right next to you and I didn't get to talk to you." It's like crazy.
Well, I mean,
come on, people.
I got to meet Grant Cardone. Now, everybody knows Grant Cardone, this huge guy. He's worth $350 million and all this sales training programs, this, that. And I'm not into his ways of doing things, but it's not, he's successful. I'm not going to argue. He's very successful. I meet him there and I said, "Hey, Grant, nice to meet you." While other people are like, "Oh, Grant, I follow everything you do, and I can't thank you enough." And I'm just like, "Hey, nice to meet you." And you want to know what he said back? He said, "It was really nice to meet you too." He was just a normal person.
Yeah, I've met all the celebrities
that's out there. And this is one of the things I was talking about, trying to reach out for people of influence. I went on a kick the last 2 weeks, and you know me with Blab, so I went on the last 2 weeks of Blab, and I started messaging people. Some I'm friends with on Facebook or Twitter or something else, or some of them are not. And I made a list of 50 people that I want to interview on Blab. And I sent them out. And I took entertainment industry, business, social media, musicians, sports, everything.
Exactly.
There are people I never spoke to in my life that I feel are very large influencers. Dr. Cohen probably knows one of them, not personally, but knows the name. Tom Ferry?
No.
Tom Ferry's sales trainer. He's the son of Thomas Ferry, who used to do Sweat Hogs years ago for the realtors.
Okay.
Huge. I mean, this guy's got 300,000 people following him.
Okay.
I mean, huge sales trainer. I never met him before. I've never spoken to him before. Sent my little message. I do a show on Blab interviewing business people, blah, blah, blah. What's great about Blab is you could do it from anywhere you're at. You just need a computer, a headphone to make it a little bit easier for earbuds, and you're great. And I'd love to show what's going on in your life. Do you realize he messaged me back in 20 minutes and said, yeah, let's hook up after January. I can do it for you. Now, this is a guy that's flying across the country everywhere, doing stuff, and I just approached him and asked.
Right. And I did that when I had an AM station.
Here doesn't mean anything.
I asked all of it was political. It was back 2006, and it was political season. You know, it was all ramping up and everything. And I was like, well, who do I want on my radio show? So I just started contacting, you know, some people. It was kind of funny because you ended up with their cell phone. You're like, hi, I didn't expect you to get you, you know. And other people, you went through their managers or whatever. But, you know, you get Al Gore and, you know, Hillary Clinton. And I got here in Texas, we got, you know, Perry that was, you know, still running back then. And you have all of these people. And they all need marketing. They all still need to get their voice out there, their message heard, and they're approachable. And a lot of times people just think that there's this wall that they can't approach people. And I'm like, come on, they're just people who need more influence and more connections. And, you know, you can talk to anybody.
Small businesses, like within towns, I don't think they realize how they can become a very large influencer within their town. All they have to do is get involved in the community.
That's right.
That's it.
Exactly.
Get involved with the schools. Get involved in a charity thing going on. Do some drives. Show support of other things going on in town. All of a sudden, your name gets known.
Exactly.
And now people will come to your business because you're actively involved.
Because in 2005, I just started networking. I found out about networking. So I joined networking groups, and I saw these people that were like the kings of networking in Austin. And I'm like, oh my gosh, you know, they're so amazing. I'm like, wait a moment, why can't I be that? And in a year's time, not only did I kind of own the Austin market, but it was about people who network. So it's one of the easiest ways to get known in a city, especially in the small business community, is by getting involved with chambers and networking groups. And don't just go to one, go to multiple ones throughout the whole area. And you're going to get known very quickly, especially if you're a giver. You know?
Yeah, it makes such a difference. You know, as we talked about earlier, with salespeople trying to get someone to do something or get them to buy something, and it all coming from the salesperson's perspective, is looking for the fit, looking to contribute. You know, when you look for that and you're standing in a place of contribution, it makes all the difference in the world. And people gravitate towards you. They want to be, you know, around you. They want to know you. And similarly, you know, one experience can change someone's opinion of you, and that will last for a lifetime. So for example, even as a salesperson talking to one prospective customer, if you listen to them, if you honor them, even if they don't buy your product or service, they will remember that. Because in our world of sales, that's so highly unusual. And the next time, if it happens, they run into you, and you may be with a different company and you have a different product, they will remember how you treated them and that you were looking at all of it from their perspective. And you're going to have a much easier time.
It's also how you do it from stage. Yeah, you know, you're on stage. Right. It's not what you're saying. It's how are you making those people feel? You know, if you can make them feel like they are smart, that they can learn this stuff, or are you going to make them feel dumb that they are stupid for not, you know, knowing this stuff already? I mean, there is ways that you can make a whole audience feel something to develop that relationship, and it could be a bad relationship or a good relationship. It goes both ways.
Yeah, I mean, Tanya, you've seen me on Blab. I mean, my whole way of doing things is I want people to feel comfortable that they'll open up, because the more comfortable they are, the more they'll open up. And when you're in sales and business, you have to adapt to their personalities. You're not always making them adapt to your personality. I didn't say I'm talking about the personality. I'm not talking about the information on your product or your service. I'm talking about your personality, because if future customers or customers are relaxed around you, they talk more. And then you find out what their needs are. Because if you find out their needs, then you can focus your sales pitch to their needs, which now you're not selling them, you're giving them a reason to buy.
Well, and a lot of people,
Dr. Cohen sitting there going, yes.
Well, a lot of people try to avoid like the analytical people, because analytical people do drive you crazy because they want everything answered. But I tell you, they're my favorite, because once you have gone through all of the possible questions that they can come up with, they are so solid, and they will love you, because very little people will go through that process with them. And even though I'm not analytical, I can still sell to and help analytical people, because I learned to adjust myself to what they want, which is their questions answered.
And as Stanley's stalking me. I hooked him on live streaming in the past 2 weeks, and he probably hates me right now because he's doing Facebook Lives. I got him on Mevi. He's done some Periscopes, and now I got him on Blab. He's a real estate agent in the DC, Virginia area. And he even just said, you sell yourself first before your product. Always. And I like that approach. And I don't know if Dr. Cohen, you agree with that or not, but I do like that approach personally, because it's about the person, and now I can get in deeper about the product.
So here's my thought about that.
It's okay.
Yeah, when you are prospecting, it should take about 2.5 minutes for the your prospective customer, to know if your product or service is even potentially a fit for them. So your company could spend half an hour, 45 minutes, an hour or more of time, because typically salespeople will talk as long as anyone will allow them to talk. And you might make a friend for life, but that person, if they don't want or need your product, there's not even a chance of it, then that's a huge waste of time and money. Mm-hmm. That's part of the waste from a sales standpoint. And what we create are the programs that provide the prospecting, and really it goes all the way through the entire sales process, but it provides that kind of concise, consistent, and duplicatable information, so that in 2.5 minutes, that prospective customer knows if they want or need your product or service. If they're even potentially interested, then there's immediately some additional, more detailed information to help them determine if they think it truly could be a fit for them. And the job of the salesperson then, because this can be done through video, it has to be done with somebody who has the ability to create a relationship with someone through a video, which can absolutely be done. But then the salesperson, instead of having to do all the heavy lifting from a selling standpoint, can concentrate almost primarily on the relationship building and also the support of the customer. So they're the champions of their customers and prospective customers. But it eliminates that waste of time. I think the reality is, it doesn't matter how much somebody likes you. If they don't need your product or service, they're not going to buy from you. And there's a small percent of the population that will, because you bullied them into it, or just to stop you from talking because you talk way too much.
Stanley wrote, but people talk to other people. So if they don't need your product or anything like that, but they like you and think that you have a good situation, they may refer people to you.
Exactly. And I always look at it in the eyes. If I'm standing in Starbucks, and I'm in line and I just start chatting with somebody, I always ask them, hey, you work around here? And it's like the best line ever because they just like spill everything about their whole life in that few seconds, right? And you can tell as soon as they ask you who you are and you just say the little phrase that you've come up with yourself in your business, you can see in their eyes if they're interested, if they're like, oh, you can continue the conversation. If it's like, oh, okay, then you can either let it go or decide that this is someone you want to build a relationship for referrals.
Yep.
It depends on your industry also.
That's right, because Stanley had just said, which makes total sense to me. He said, but that's from a real estate perspective. Okay, my process is real estate is 100% a relationship business. My process would not, there are some pieces of it that could potentially support a real estate business, but I'm looking at product sales, service sales. And, there you can't really afford, the company can't afford to have the salespeople going out and spending 30 to 60 minutes with every single prospect when they don't even yet know if that prospect, that potential, customer might even want or need their product. So,
and it's so much fun too when you take it. I love looking at everything from the stage perspective. You see That's people right. on stage, and Robert, you see this probably all the time too, and they're talking at the audience, right? Yeah, and then they expect all these sales from it, and you're like, what? No. You totally blew it.
I'm a completely different I'm the same I am here right now that I am up on stage.
Exactly.
Oh yeah.
When I get up on stage, I have certain friends in the industry that we've spoken together at, and they're like, I'm like, oh, you're going to be there too. So am I. And I can see them. They're like, oh God, here we go. Because I'm the type. We were on panels, and this is how I give you a description of me on stage. It's fun, but I mean, I use humor because I feel a lot of time, not telling jokes or anything, but I make people smile and enjoy their time when I'm speaking because they remember it better. They actually, like, you said something funny, but there was a lesson in it. They tend to remember the funny, but then the funny brings the lesson. Like I did something on a blab one time, and they're like, oh my God, do you remember when Rob had laryngitis and you got him on and he was I was literally using cue cards. I couldn't talk. And I was like writing things down and putting it up the screen. And they were like, yeah. And wasn't he talking about that whole situation? And it was like right away, they brought it back to what I was discussing because they remembered the funny thing, the humor that relaxed them, but because they were so relaxed, they really took in the conversation. Exactly. So I go on this panel. I go on this panel one time in, I think I was in Denver when we did it, and it was 3 friends of mine that were on it. And whenever we get together, you just never know what's going to happen. So they did this panel. It was a real estate function, and they were saying, Katie, they asked a question, blah, blah, blah. And then they went, Deborah, they asked a question. And then they would go, Robert, we have a question for you. And I saw the other 3 heads just go like this. They're all like this. They're like, oh God, here we go. Because they just never know where I'm going to go with it. I don't curse. I'm not mean. I don't talk down to people. I don't come in the $1,000 suit with the zoot shoes, like trying to be this high level person. I mean, I might be in a sport jacket with a t-shirt and things like that. I mean, I've been to some of these conferences where they come out and they're like, when I did this and when I did that and I'm like, that's great, but doesn't mean anything to me. How's it going to help me? Don't talk down to me. And then there's the whole thing of my way is the only way.
Right.
I despise my way is the only way. Only because when I tell people to come in from a conference is that we're going to give you lots of ideas. You can't do it exactly the way I do it because guess what? You're not me. Exactly. Now take that information and put it into your personality and use it. That's why when they always do scripts, and I don't know if this is against you, Susan, so I'm not saying anything. You can't read a script and memorize the exact way to do it. You got to come out naturally when you say it. Because if you come out monotone, like, so, Tim, I understand you're not comfortable with that. It just doesn't, it's like, hey, Tim, I relate to that. I can understand that you don't like coffee anymore after 5 years of serving it at Starbucks. But, on the other side of the coin, oh, I'm sorry. Hi, Tim. It's a good thing I know him real well.
Good to see you, buddy.
Everyone, this is the fabulous Mr. Tim Gillette, who's going to be one of my speakers at my conference for the Public Speakers Conference in June. So, yay!
Is that it? That's in Texas?
Palm Springs, California, at the Hard Rock Hotel. So I had to have the rocker himself come to the Hard Rock, right?
Oh, God. I want to see a stream of that if I'm not there.
Exactly.
Is that Tom Pettit on stage? But you understand what I'm saying, Dr. Cohen. It's
as a matter of fact, one of the things that I say is it's exactly what Tanya said. You can't talk at people. You have to talk to them. And someone speaking monotone is not talking to anybody, right? And so I totally agree with you. And really, in a video, which is a big part of what we use to support salespeople, there may be company experts that are included for portions of it, but there is a spokesperson who can effectively communicate and create a relationship with whoever it is that's viewing the video. And it has to be done in a way that you can actually connect with a prospective customer, and create a relationship with that person. And you can't do that if you're speaking in a way that, isn't simple and caring. And so I totally agree. Whether you're standing on stage or whether you're doing it on a video, people have to know that you care. People have to know that this is about them and that you care about them and that you're committed to contributing to them.
Because every time I speak, I have to have the wireless mic or the thing on my lapel because I am known to jump off the stage. I will go off the stage.
Never done that.
I will get into the audience because I'm like getting them involved because I'm much more of an interactive speaker where I'm going to ask questions and I don't want to sit there and going. So does everybody agree with that?
Well, and for me, I use the handheld.
I can't do handhelds. I can, but they irritate me because I'm like him, but I'm active. I'm out there doing things.
But a handheld wireless, it has to be wireless because I get right down into the audience too, it keeps me from flaring too much. So I learned that it keeps me a little bit more controlled. This hand can still go crazy, but
that's why I like the one on the ear that comes around, or I like the one on the lapel, because then I can. My hands are always moving. It's hey.
Mine too. If that's the fastest way to shut me up is to have me sit on my hands, and then I have nothing to say.
So you hate sitting on. So you probably hate sitting on panels because you got to sit down.
Sitting is fine as long as I have my hands free.
I hate
the panels down. Are always interesting. It depends on how good the moderator is, because a lot of times there's one person who dominates or all the questions comes to one person. So when I'm on stage, depending on the atmosphere, too many people keep asking me questions, and then I feel bad because they're not giving the rest of the panel, time. And so it's really about the person who's running that panel discussion. If they're good, it can be an awesome experience. But how are you, Tim? You're very quiet today.
I'm listening to the conversation, of course. You know what I mean? I don't just jump in and take over the conversation.
When?
You do it to me all the time.
I know. I'm like, what?
I learned to do that from you. You know what I mean? Just, listen to what your audience asks for. Okay, he asks to be walked over because he does it to me all the time. Do unto others as you'd have them do unto you, Robert.
I have no problem with it. You know that.
Oh my gosh. Well, and here you're going to be running.
I had
Go
one
ahead.
person the other week. I was sitting in a room and I was doing like Tim. I was just listening and everything. And they said, Robert, you're not very verbal. You seem a little shy about things. And I was like, oh my God, if they said that on Blab, I think the room would have like just exploded. Look at Tim's face. He's like, Robert's shy? Not willing to give his opinion?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Well, and a lot of times too, it's all about the moderator too. If there's somebody that's quiet, the other day I had 3 lovely ladies on, and one lady was like, you could just tell it was her first time to ever be on anything ever. And you have to kind of pull it out of them, and get them talking, because there's always usually someone who kind of dominates anyway. So, you have to remember that there's all different personality types.
Definitely.
Yeah, you want to see me get quiet? The room I was in last night with Robert's girlfriend, I couldn't get a word in edgewise. Me and 3 women.
Wow, and people had longer hair.
They were all just talking all over themselves. I mean, it was like I was like, and then I even wrote, I went, ladies, one at a time.
Yes, girl, my tree is still up. Okay, January 7th. Today is Christmas Day. If you are Russian,
King's Christmas.
You're Russian. Yep. I know a lot of my husband's family celebrates Christmas more on the 6th than they do at Christmas, by giving gifts on the day the 3 kings gave the gifts, so everyone does things differently.
There's different days for it, but yeah, I take it down usually the 7th, but in this case, because of my week this week, it's either tomorrow or Saturday. I'm going to start taking stuff down.
I think you should just leave the tree up, just take the decorations off, and then you can make it like a Valentine's Day tree.
No,
there's a lady that I know that does it.
My office is crammed up against the wall right now. I need my spot back.
Right. I know my cat was half the tree was folded down because she had squished it down to make her own little nest inside the tree. She thought it was the biggest cat toy ever.
Mm-hmm.
So what do you got going on?
Sit under it, not in it. So
right.
Well, I'm
How
actually
about you, Mr. Tim?
I'm actually gonna pop out because I got to get ready. I actually have an interview at 1:00 on Blab. That I'm interviewing a gentleman who is very big on Snapchat, actually.
Nice.
So I got to get off and get ready for that. But it was a pleasure seeing you, Tanya.
Thanks for popping in.
Yeah, Tim, as
It's
always.
good to meet you, Robert.
Yes, definitely. And I did follow this account, so if we can chat a little bit more about the sales thing, because I'd like to hear more about it.
Great. I would love to.
All right. Take care, everybody.
Bye.
Take care.
Bye-bye, Robert. How can I help you today, Tanya? Can I help you with anything? Or
Oh, you're fabulous. And, one of the things to look at, we've got the virtual summit coming up January 20th and 21st. I would love to have you on as a presenter this time.
Let me look at the schedule. I've Mastermind the 26th. Mastermind
and everyone who's listening.
26th, I'm speaking. 21st, I'm flying back home.
20th, you're still speaking?
20th and 21st, I'm in Los Angeles.
Oh, okay. All right, in February. February 1's going to have a theme. We're going to have relationships, both family and business. So that would be a great one for you.
Okay. So I'm trying to think how I can do. I fly back home on the 20th. Well, the 20th.
It's over the phone, so you could just be on your phone.
I could probably do it. Let me call you this afternoon. In about an hour, I've got to run to the airport, pick up Gwen.
Okay.
But are you in your office this afternoon?
Yes, I am.
All right. I'll call you and set up what I can do, and we'll see what we can do.
Okay, sounds good.
All
and
right.
everybody who's listening, we've still got openings for our Change Your World Virtual Summit. It's 25 minutes straight presentation over the phone. It's on a live broadcast, so it's in front of a live audience. But we also record it and then post it up on the Public Speakers Association under our Summits tab. So y'all can go check that out. So make sure that you get involved and go out there and start changing lives this year. What's your goal this year, Tim?
This year, I want to have 100 graduates, not people in the program, but graduates of my Rock Around Your Blog mentorship program. We are looking to have the next book, the Rock Around Your Blog book, which I'm going to go sit and work on more today, will be done by March 15th, and I will have a copy of it in hand. That's the two I have that are significant for the business right now. I have two major conferences, yours being one of them, and one other was I'm trying to get to 5 major conferences to speak at this year. I usually do a lot of small. It's my year to go big. I'm trying to get into big conferences now.
Nice, nice. And there's a lady in Austin that's looking for speakers for her event, so I'm going to connect you as soon as I get all of her contact information.
Okay.
So perfect. And I already told Suzanne about that.
So I can't say it on
and Tim's in Dallas, Suzanne, so he's not too far.
Oh, cool. Nice to
So
meet
Suzanne,
you.
what is your goals for 2016?
Oh boy.
Besides launching your whole company and
Yeah. Well, this is truly the year to initiate the movement for a change in the sales model. And there are just so many different opportunities to help shift how companies not only do sales and manage their businesses, but manage their lives, how they treat their employees, the examples that they set. There are some different things that we're going to be doing that we expect to trickle down and affect not just our employees and the clients that we work with, but the families. It's really about healing businesses and healing families and life.
Perfect.
So yeah, so I'm really excited. This is going to be a huge year of contribution for me.
Nice. I know I have the same goal every year, and people are like, well, that's a sucky goal if it's the same one. You never get to it.
No.
But mine's always to look back at myself the year before and not recognize myself. And that means I have changed and pushed myself and transformed and made things happen that I didn't even think was possible. And I encourage everyone to have that as part of your goal, is to really look at, every year I look back and I'm like, really, that was me? You know, I can't imagine doing what I'm doing now. Being on Blab, are you kidding me? You know, I mean, these things just kind of blow my mind. I mean, I always show these pictures, and some of the people, y'all have never seen this. This was me in 2005, okay? This was me as the complete introvert. This was a holiday gala. This is the way I dressed for a gala. This was about me not being part of life, about hiding, keeping my fabulousness to myself, and not owning it, right? And I'm not doing it anymore. I am now saying goodbye to that old, scared, not movement, no change, no transformation, and saying, who do I want to be? And what do I want to be? And how can I go out and change people's lives? Because if I could start changing somebody's life, especially as an entrepreneur, a business owner, they can go out and change other people's lives. So it's like this whole ripple effect. So I love it.
Yay.
Yay. So thank y'all both for being on today. And thanks, Suzanne, for jumping in and helping out. And I know Charmaine, Tim, I don't know if you know Charmaine Hammond. She was supposed to be on our show today, but she had technical difficulties. She's definitely someone to meet and get connected to. She's got, let everybody know, Charmaine, you're still on the line. If you want to put in the link to your upcoming conference, she's got a fabulous event, Global Influence Summit in California in February. I'm sponsoring that, and the EBC event is immediately afterwards, which I'm speaking. So I'm super excited about getting connected to Charmaine. She is adorable, fantastic. I just adore her as soon as I met her. And I even haven't met her in person, so I can't wait to sit down and get to know. So perfect. Yay. Well, thank you both, and y'all have a great rest of your day.
You too.
Thanks, you too.